Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my channel, Joy to the World. I am Melissa Joy. So as you can see, I am back home again. It's my happy place. My happy place. Yesterday was rough. I drove back in time to make it to my job. And I had enough time to have gone in and unloaded the car and to get there. And less than a mile from my house, a high-pitched noise comes on and it freaks me out. Just really loud, this tone. And so I pull off to the nearest place, which is a drugstore, and just pull up into a parking space, and I put it into park, and it wouldn't stop. So I turned it off. It wouldn't stop. I turned it back on. I go to apply the brake to see if I can move it into gear. The brake will not budge. It was hard as a rock and pushing back at me, actually. And I'm like, oh, are you kidding me? Anyways, long story short, call for the roadside assistance that comes with my insurance. About an hour and a half in to waiting on them, I called the elder gentleman that I work for, and I said, I apologize, I'm stuck. And he's like, oh, I'll come get you. And he said, you can put your stuff in my van and we'll drop it by your house. And that way it won't be left in the car when it gets towed. And I'm like, okay. Now, he was an industrial engineer and a pilot and worked at GM designing cars and things like that. So he's like, let me take a look. And he's puttering around in there. And he said that he thought it was well overheated. Just like the mechanic, I called the guy who had worked on it when I was in visiting my parents. And he said the same thing. But imagine now, by the time he arrives, it's an hour and 45 minutes. Almost 2 hours by the time I had parked the car. And it's a blaze here because it's well over 100 degrees. And having driven 6 hours straight, he's like, that could do it on even a newer car. So I was sitting in the shade of that concrete of the building for that whole time, and it was scalding. I was like losing my mind, but not. And being frustrated, but not. And just being patient with the moment, going, okay, all this is happening for a reason. I'm scared, I'm unsure, but part of me feels very sure. So I'm just going to stick with that part, and I'm going to sit here and try and breathe through these feelings. And so, anyways, he eventually got to be able to press the brake in enough to put it into gear, and it was like, oh, it should be fine. I get back in there and I'm like, this is scary because the brake is still like a brick, and the area that I have to drive back home has a lot of crosswalks where children go, and I was just so concerned and scared, but breathing through it. And he's following me, and so I just went 20 or 25 miles an hour that way. If I had to run off somewhere, it would be okay. Point is, we got it home, and it was super late by the time everything got in the house, and I was exhausted, utterly exhausted, just shaking. Hadn't eaten most of the day because that was not the plan. But anyways, I got the few necessary things put away, and then went to climb into bed. And I'm just laying there trying to let my mind just melt out for a moment. It's like, I don't know, 7 o'clock maybe. I'm going, oh, I just need to sleep. And because with this kidney thing, I probably wake up every, I don't know, half hour at night. So, man, I'm looking forward to some sleep. My dad calls. And he's like, so you didn't call me back. What worked out? And I said, why? I canceled the tow truck, like you said, because at an hour 45, I called them again when I had spoken to them 5 minutes after I filed the request. And they said, oh, it's still pending. No one's been sent out. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And they're like, well, can you wait there to give them the key? And I'm like, I don't know if I can. I've already been here waiting for 2 hours. I said, it's a lot of chaos going on in this atmosphere right now, okay? A lot of shift and change, we'll call it that. And that can seem like chaos, but there is a rhyme and reason behind all of this. And it's to have us no longer painting a turd, right? that Aries North Node. It's like, I'm about to level up, because they were talking to me about the different dimensions. And hopefully, if I get to that in this video, if not, leave it in the comments down below and say, Joy, tell us about that fourth dimension. So anyways, I was like, okay, I'll try and see. I said, we'll see about that. If I can meet you back up here and give them the key and all that. I just need a time estimate of when they'll be here. Finally, I get a message a while later. They'll be 45 to 75 minutes. And I'm like, I can't do it. I can't do it. And that's when he's like, you drive home. I'll follow you there, and I'll help you get your stuff in. And then tomorrow morning, when you find out if your car will run or not, let me know. And if it won't, I'll come pick you up, and you can come to work and figure it out from there. Because all of that hullabaloo kept me on hold so long that all the car rental companies had shut down. So there was no other option. And I was like, I don't like it when there's no other option. This seems very foolish and stupid, especially if it could harm somebody, right? But so fast forward, 7 p.m. I'm just, in bed, lights on, just like, My dad calls. And I heard a side of him I can't recall ever hearing. I know I was asked to do this. I know I was asked to go on that journey, and it was a faith journey, and for what? I wasn't totally sure. I did go to the mound like I believed I was supposed to. Retrieved one facet of my son from there. But he said, you've had so much happen to you, and you've lived this way for far too long, and this has been way too hard on you. And he said, your mom and I are gonna come down, because I have a procedure on Monday to get that thing out. He said, we're gonna come down, we're gonna help you get a car. And a good, decent used car. And that's their house money, y'all. These are people who've been priced out of the housing market. And where they live, living in a camper was not a plan for people in their mid-70s, right? That was just supposed to be for a couple of months so they could take it around and figure out where in the country they wanted to live. And, everything just stifled and locked down. And he said, I don't want you to say anything to me about it. I've already made up my mind. He said, you need help. And I said, we're happy to do it. But I haven't heard that before. So many changes, huh? Things you prayed for decades happening. I didn't pray for the car for decades, y'all. I prayed for my dad. He could feel how loved he is by his whole family instead of how rejected he was by his father at age 4, And because that's what I could tell you, even though he's so fierce, there's this thing about him that we all just love, which is actually him, right? Not all that excess stuff, all those hurt feelings. And so I don't even know what to do. I woke up this morning, and my spirit's like, pack up, go to the beach. I know your brake's not working very well in the car, but we'll get you there. You go, you'll record, then you'll go to your job. It's gonna be okay. And I've heard those things, y'all, but like my dad had said, I've been through so many hardships to where it sounded like it was going one way and then something else would happen, and it just didn't make sense. And I don't know if him seeing all the stuff happening to me while I was there just softened his heart, or I don't know. But I couldn't hide anymore, and so I tell you, friends, y'all can't either. Because if we're going into heaven on earth, it's a fourth dimension. I know everybody says the fifth dimension. Well, that's heaven. You ever heard this twin flame runner chaser and people, oh yeah, I've been waiting on my twin flame 20 years. Oh, that's suffering, my friend. That is suffering. Because usually it's somebody who's cheating on somebody and, or already married or had these other relationships. And so there's that, energy going on. But that's when you're talking about the 3D and the 5D. Well, heaven, the 5D, earth, the 3D, when they come together mathematically and they choose to walk together, to join together, that makes an 8. And it makes it the fourth dimension when heaven and earth connect. The kiss, right? And I was always a science nerd, man. I could eat science, nature, biology, geology, all that kind of stuff. I loved it. Then I bumped my head and things became a little weird, but I still love it, even if I don't recall everything, right? So there's this science lady who her shorts pop up in my feed recently. And I don't, maybe day before yesterday, she was saying something about the fourth dimension. And I'm like, ooh, I like that, because I don't hear anybody talk about the fourth dimension. They're talking 5D and 3D, right? So she's this physicist, and she mentions something that went along with one of my videos that's coming up about looking at things perpendicularly. And she said that's how the fourth dimension occurs. It's a perpendicular look. So she says there's no secrets. There's no hiding in the 4D, because there's nothing to hide. And maybe that's why that verse that I love that says, I am a sun and a shield unto you. So when you shine bright, when you're your true self, it is a power of protection. It's almost like those lasers in that Mission Impossible, like with the jewel there, the dun, 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 that people can't get in there. And so what she was showing was this drawing of a lady with a box, and in the box she had these precious jewels. So imagine they're turned like this, and she's holding the box, but it's a cube, right? Fourth dimension. And because it's a cube, you can see through it, because in order to communicate a cube when you draw one, it has to have transparency, right? And so she says that's why there are no secrets. There is no hiding. So I guess as long as we want to hold on to our hiding, hold on to our secrets, hold on to our pain, that sort of thing, it can bog us down and lock us up. And I didn't know what kind of craziness when Spirit's like, oh, we're going to break down the illusion. We're going to talk about, whatever. I thought I was just going to mention the way my car looked. I had no idea we were getting into the spillage that we were on that incredibly personal video. And I'm like, y'all. And I think even the one that I did in the house when I was talking about that vision of the golden children rising up from this industrial age, I didn't want to share that one either. And they're like, the Spirit is here. While it has filled this room, you record this, because as people tune in and touch it, that same energy is going to go into them, that pure goldness love for all of us in this world, like the whole room in the crayon box, right? That type of a movement. Because when we look forward to everyone and being in their joy, that is the individuation. That's like loving the diversity of life and loving the diversity of each person. And same with ourselves. So that's the 4D going on, and it is here. And I didn't know the magic of why those fugly, nasty things had to come out, or why to even share them. But apparently it's helping some people here to recognize that there's a way to have joy in the midst of this transition. I could call it chaos, frustration, struggle, but that can leave it in a condition, and I don't want to do that to you guys. So we'll just talk about that transition time and moving into this new energy. So that's one of the hallmarks, because I love astronomy as well as astrology. I like to check out the NASA site a lot, because when the sun's telling me that solar flares are coming, just by the way it's moving and talking, showing me, and then you tune into NASA and it's like, oh yeah, I've had blank class solar flares, and I'm like, okay, cool, there we go. She was saying with this 4D from her, saying that there can be no secrets, no hiding. So that's part of it, is no longer having to have that formed identity, like the hollow milk chocolate bunny. It's just like this, coming to y'all, because if I had to wait till I could get in the house, get my face straight and whatever else to hope that y'all would like me, that would make me very sad. Because if you were my friend here, and you were here in this physical world with me, not just in this technology world, you would know that is joy. This is joy. People rarely see me with makeup on. This is just who I am, because I'm not about to jump in that water and get stuff smeared all over my face. And this is my hair. People ask me all the time, do you curl it? No, this is my hair. This is what Cancer gave me. It was a gift, this gray curly hair. And I'm like, I'm embracing that. So it's all these new things, and maybe when there's that transparency, we've made peace with ourselves as well, and we can see the truth so clearly. Because to mornings, get ready. because apparently we're going to have 2 of them to mornings, because I'm hearing tomorrow morning. Because today, I've got straggler hairs and they are kissing all over me. Okay. It was a super sun. Rarely have I seen them. And it was magnificent. Because, get up, Joy, get on out there. And I had to repack my car with my cards and the accoutrements that I bring out here to do recording, because I had emptied it thinking the tow truck was coming, right? I'm trying to get it together and refill my water filter because I've been gone for a week, and I'm like, okay, you're gonna make it, just breathe. That's a stimulating breath, by the way, the triple breath. And so the sun was already coming up above the horizon line as I'm passing over the bridge, coming out to the beach and making my way around to this beach, which is a few miles down from where I come onto the island. And the sun just pops up behind the trees, and it's huge. It's magnanimous. It's just glorious. And I'm like, oh, and I'm like, it's really going to be okay. And it's like, I'm thankful, but I'm still, it's a little tender, right? But it's amazing because it's right in the middle of these 2 supermoons that I don't know if it's been getting you, but it was whapping me. It was whapping my ass like something I can't even tell you. I was like, all these unfamiliar things happening and stuff I still didn't want to talk about, like the tone that the moon was putting off is freaky. I'm like, is that really happening? And they're like, do you want to show you again? I'm like, no. Okay. So point is, the supermoon is here, and we can choose to shine from here on out as it begins to crescendo towards the full moon, the blue moon that's coming. Because they're wanting us to choose blessing and bounty as opposed to the chaos and confusion. Because when there's clarity, there isn't confusion, right? And when we move into that 4D, we're going to start realizing that there are certain things that we need to let go of that we can't hold on to. And we're talking a lot of energetic, like attitudes and things. Because I can remember the moon cards coming out in the Magic and Miracles readings. And the Pride one came out quite a few times. And the Pride, I think, it was really talking a lot just about your identity. The way you've come to identify yourself and associate yourself, okay? Because those choose the environments and the groups that we are drawn towards, okay? So stepping into this 4D, the land of the super sun, where it shines so bright and big and bountiful that it opens you up to limitless possibilities. That's Jupiter and the sun coming together. I know I'm not crazy when they tell me these things. I can see it in my mind's eye, and I can see it outside of me. And I'm like, okay, let's make this real. Let's create this. Let's bring this in where this truth begins to abound at this channel for all the viewers and listeners. The magic of miracles, right? And a miracle is something you can behold. It's not a mirage. That's the amazing thing about it. One thing, help yourself, kiss yourself, like James Brown said, I'm already here. Let's move on through. Let's do this thing. Okay, because when there was a fallenness that occurred, it fell. They fell from the 4D, the bottom of that cube went bloop, and came down into the 3D. Same place, different condition. Do you see what I mean? And the 4D has no conditions. That's why it's transparent and it's open. It is Metatron and Sandalphon coming together, that it can go and get into structure. You know, if you need tangible things, it can also get into the dissolution or the dissolving, which is very Sandalphon, if you need to move through walls that have been holding you back for too long. It's simply being able to shift forms whenever need be, and not the chameleon shapeshifter. No, we're talking interpersonally with oneself, into your desires and your dreams and your health and your well-being and your wealth and your prosperity and your community. Oh, Nate's there. Our pelican zooming across, giving his vote of confidence for that. I love him. I think of him kind of as the traffic control and weather report man, because he's often flying by himself and he'll just cruise on by, and then later on you'll see the troops of pelicans. It's like he goes and gives them the report of what's going on, so maybe that's my nickname, Nate the Pelican. But you'll be girded with truth, living in and from and with your truth, and it keeps a lightness to everything, ease and delight, like it caches out a lot of that tarot stuff. And nothing against tarot, y'all. Tarot was a system designed when we were in the earthen era of the industrial age. And a lot of times the schooling and training that we have, thinking that we have to keep proceeding forward in order to finish out. No, you don't. See, like that 8 of Cups, you can turn and walk away. That cup resembles any point in the story. You can turn and walk away. You can go back to being the fool, but the fool unto life. Choose the fool unto life as opposed to the fool unto death, because the fool is the 0 and the 0 is a door. It is a gateway. It is a passage. It's an open heart. And it's either an open heart to cynicism, the wound, or it's an open heart to the glory, which is courageous. It takes courage and strength to move forward into the big, bright, bold unknown, especially if there's been so much proof and evidence that life is going to be horrible or is horrible or staying this way, or you get beat down, or 1 step forward, 2 steps back, that type of thing. It takes some courage. Courage. Core, the heart. Yeah, I like that. Courage and miracles. We ditching that mirage. We just snatching it off the screen and putting it back behind us. Yes, your belt to truth. Being truthful and honest with yourself, with your feelings especially, because it's coming from those little places, those little particles that lead up to the big shebangles, okay? So being honest with yourself there creates radical transformation rapidly. So buckle up, buttercup, get ready. It's about to wonkavate, my friend. Like Dorothy said, there is no place like home. Go bring color into your world, beauty into your life, breath into your lungs, happiness into your soul, my friend. That is my vote for you, my vote for me. I say it to myself, Melissa Joy, I vote that for you too. Okay. Well, wishing you well, my friends. Hey, while you're here, click that subscribe button. I'd love to have you join my channel. And if you would do me a favor and tap that like button, it helps this video rise up to the top, and it will be soaring on the winds and the wings of YouTube, getting out to other people. I look forward to chatting down below. Bye.